So this is loop cast on. I'm demonstrating this for the purposes of the top-down hat that myself and my friend Sarah Aldersign have designed. We both start with a loop cast on. I have demonstrated this technique before, but previously I did it with one extra stitch that needed to be dropped in the first round. This way we're going to finish with a yarn over because we're both working with an even number of stitches. So the first thing is that you need to make a loop of yarn in which the tail yarn is hanging behind the ball yarn. So this yarn I'm holding here leads to the ball and the tail is hanging behind it. And then holding that loop of yarn like that, you need to take your knitting needle into that loop from in front, and then working with the ball yarn, you wrap the yarn around the needle and pull it back through the loop. That's the first stitch on the needle. Then make a yarn over. Then take the needle back through the loop again, wrap the yarn and bring it back through. That's now 3 stitches on the needle, and then again make a yarn over. So what you're doing is you're alternating, making a stitch through the loop, which is what we've done there, and following that with a yarn over. So stitch through the loop followed by a yarn over, and repeat that as many times as required to get the number of stitches that you wish. In our hat we're starting with 10 or 12 stitches, so far I've got 6 because that final one there is a yarn over. So I'm ready to make the next stitch through the loop. 7, 8 yarn over, 9 stitch through the loop, 10 yarn over. And then the way that this cast on works, I'm just going to use my thumb to hold those stitches on the needle apart from the final yarn over, is that you can pull the tail yarn to close the loop. And now I'm using magic loop method. You'll need to use that for this technique, and I'm putting all those stitches, including that yarn over, onto my needle. And what I'm going to do is separate these into 2 group sets of stitches for magic loop method. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches there, and then there'll be 6 stitches here. I'm going to pull out the cable between the 6 and the 4 like that, and put the 6 stitches onto one of the needles. That's the tail. I need to pick up the yarn, the ball yarn, so that now that, can you see the final yarn over is wrapping itself around the cable below, and I'm ready to work with the ball yarn. So I'm going to pick that needle up and start working. So I'm going to knit around these stitches. I might be a bit clumsy because I'm looking at this through the camera instead of directly. There we go, 1, that's the first stitch knitted. And it doesn't matter that at this stage your loop opens up a bit. It will keep doing that until you've actually finished the knitting, when you'll close it and actually hold it closed by sewing the end in. So that's 4 of my, oh, I got my numbers wrong. I've got 7 stitches there. So there will in fact then only be 3 on that bottom needle, I surmise. Right, so ready to turn over and change my magic loop. So these stitches on this are going to come off the needle onto the cable, and the other 3 stitches, yes, the 3 stitches, there should have been 4 but never mind, the other 3 stitches I'm going to work. There's the ball yarn. I'm going to carry on working. So the yarn now is coming from the final one of the stitches I've just knitted, and I'm going to work these 3. And that final one I'm working is the yarn over, the final yarn over. That's it, all done. And I can close that loop and you can see there's some looseness in the yarn that I've just brought for the final stitch that I worked, but I'll work that looseness through into the next round. And that's it, everyone. That's loop cast on, the method that I created a few years ago. Thank you.